Boldman DUI footage, a strategic crisis unfolding. The release of critical DUI footage presents a significant reputational and political challenge for Senator Boldman and the Montana legislature. The revelation of the initial 34 minutes of Senator Boldman's driving under the influence incident secured through a court order immediately elevates the narrative beyond a simple legal matter.
This event introduces a potent element of public scrutiny, demanding a comprehensive assessment of the senator's leadership, the effectiveness of existing legislative oversight, and the broader perception of accountability within the Montana government. The timing, coinciding with ongoing legislative sessions and potential policy debates, significantly amplifies the potential for political fallout, creating a volatile environment requiring immediate and decisive strategic action.
Furthermore, the source of the information, a local news outlet Missoland, underscores the importance of maintaining transparency and proactively addressing concerns surrounding media narratives. This situation necessitates a rapid, multifaceted response focused on damage control, stakeholder engagement, and a demonstrable commitment to ethical conduct.
Montana's political landscape under pressure. The release of the footage exposes vulnerabilities in the state's political infrastructure and highlights the potential for public distrust. Historically, Montana's political climate has been characterized by a degree of local deference and a relatively low level of public scrutiny regarding the conduct of elected officials.
However, the circumstances surrounding Senator Boldman's DUI, coupled with the immediate release of the footage, represent a fundamental shift in this dynamic. The existing framework of legislative oversight, reliant on informal channels and limited public accountability, appears ill-equipped to manage the scale of the crisis.
The involvement of the courts, specifically the order for release, indicates a heightened level of public concern and a potential erosion of trust in the legislative process. Simultaneously, the dissemination of this information through multiple Montana news outlets, including some
news, exponentially expands the reach of the controversy, creating a complex web of competing narratives and amplifying the potential for misinformation. The broader implications extend beyond Senator Boldman's personal predicament, demanding a critical examination of the state's governance structures and a renewed emphasis on transparency and ethical standards.
Analyzing the strategic mechanics of the disclosure. The strategic release of the footage leverages the inherent vulnerabilities of the political landscape and introduces a critical element of public pressure. The court-ordered release of the initial 34 minutes of Senator Boldman's DUI footage constitutes a deliberate strategic maneuver exploiting pre-existing tensions surrounding accountability and public trust.
The footage itself, regardless of its content, serves as a powerful catalyst, instantly transforming a potential political embarrassment into a full-blown crisis. The timing of the release, immediately following the court order, denies Senator Boldman and the legislature any opportunity to control the narrative or manage the initial public reaction.
Furthermore, the utilization of some news and news aggregators strategically amplifies the reach of the information, circumventing traditional media channels and increasing the likelihood of widespread dissemination.
This approach effectively weaponizes public access to information, creating a significant pressure point on Senator Boldman to respond decisively and transparently. The mechanics of this disclosure highlight a calculated attempt to undermine the senator's credibility and expose weaknesses within the Montana political system.
Projected consequences and strategic recommendations. The sustained release of the footage necessitates immediate crisis management and a long-term strategy for rebuilding trust. Predictably, the continued availability of the footage will generate sustained public pressure on Senator Boldman, potentially leading to calls for censure, impeachment, or a special election.
The political ramifications extend beyond the individual, casting a shadow over the Montana legislature and potentially impacting the outcomes of upcoming legislative debates. However, this crisis presents a unique opportunity for proactive engagement and strategic repositioning.
Immediate steps must include a formal televised apology from Senator Boldman coupled with a commitment to supporting increased funding for DUI prevention programs. Simultaneously, the legislature should initiate a review of its oversight mechanisms, incorporating greater transparency and accountability measures.
Long-term success hinges on demonstrating genuine remorse, prioritizing ethical conduct, and actively engaging with the public to rebuild trust. a process that will require sustained effort and a demonstrable commitment to reform. Failure to address these concerns decisively will likely result in continued public distrust and further political instability within Montana,